Do not look away. Do not scroll past this. You did not stumble here by accident. You were brought here. My beloved child, I speak to you now through this light in front of you, through this voice that feels like it is reaching inside your chest, because heaven has been waiting for this exact moment. Archangel Michael says, listen with your soul, not just your ears. This is not entertainment. This is a summons. You have been asking for a sign. You have whispered into the silence, asked the empty room questions that no one seemed to answer, and then pretended you were fine. But you are not fine. You have been carrying a weight that is too heavy, a grief that you fold up and tuck away where no one can see it. You have been haunted by the one you lost, the one who felt like a blazing comet in your life, the one who pushed limits, took risks, dreamed in ways that scared and inspired you at the same time, the one who is no longer on this side of the veil. The one who felt like your own personal visionary, your own pioneer, your own unstoppable force of creation and ideas, has left a space no one else can fill. You think of her as your genius, your world changer, your builder of impossible futures, your "how is this even real" kind of person. She was your anything is possible proof. Your rare one. Your wild, brilliant, stubborn star. And then one day, the star went quiet. Since that moment, you have replayed conversations in your mind, rewritten endings you never got, and wondered if you could have done something differently. If you could have held on tighter. If you could have loved louder. If you could have changed the story. Hear me, beloved soul. Heaven heard those questions. Heaven heard every single one of your silent cries. And the one you lost. The one who felt like that unstoppable mind and blazing heart combined into one person. She has been begging heaven for a chance to get one last message to you. God says, this is the moment I permitted. This is the opening you prayed for without knowing how it would come. Open this with your heart the second you see it. You did. You are here. You stayed. So now her words begin. Feel this as if I am putting a hand gently on your shoulder. Feel this as if a warm light is settling on your chest. Feel this as the veil thinning between your world and hers. She says to you, through me, I have been closer than you think. You imagined her far away, somewhere unreachable, trapped behind a distance you cannot cross, but that is not how love works in the higher realms. You think separation is about miles and minutes, but heaven measures in love and intention. And by that measure, she has never left your side. Archangel Michael says, the distance you feel is real to your heart but not real to your spirit's connection. You feel alone in rooms you used to share. You see empty chairs, silent screens, projects unfinished. You stand where she once stood, look at what she once built, and feel as if the air itself is missing her voice. You wonder if she sees you now. She does. Not the way eyes see, but the way light sees everything at once. The way love sees without needing permission or explanation. You have felt shivers for no reason. You have heard songs that make you stop in your tracks. You have smelled her scent for a moment in a place where there was no reason for it to be. You thought you were imagining things. You told yourself, I'm just missing her too much. You brushed it off so you wouldn't fall apart. But hear this, you were not imagining it. Those were not accidents. Those were not tricks of your mind. Those were touches from heaven. She has been begging to tell you, I am not gone the way you think I am gone. I am changed, yes. But I am not erased. You have replayed the moment you found out. You remember where you were standing, what you were holding, how the world tilted and never fully straightened again. You remember how your breath caught, how sound turned into a dull roar, how reality cracked into pieces. It felt like a theft. You said, this can't be real. Not her. Not the one who always outran limits. You wondered how a mind so sharp, a will so strong, a vision so fierce, could be stopped by anything. You almost felt betrayed by life itself. Like the universe robbed you. Like purpose lost to chaos. Like meaning slipped through your fingers. Heaven saw that anger. Heaven did not condemn it. Heaven understood it. Archangel Michael says, the weight in your chest, the questions that never let you rest, have reached the throne of heaven. You asked, where are you? Do you still exist? Can you see me? Do you care that I'm broken without you? The answer, beloved, is yes, 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 and yes. But you need to hear it in a way your heart can finally receive. That is why this moment was chosen. She says, you always thought of me as the one who could solve anything, fix anything, build anything out of nothing. But there were storms inside me you were never meant to fix. You have been blaming yourself for not noticing, for not reading between the lines, for not recognizing the heaviness under her jokes, or the exhaustion behind her sparkle. You wonder if one more conversation, one more hug, one more message at the right moment could have saved her. My beloved, let this be carved into your soul, you were not her failure. You were her miracle. You were not the reason for her pain. You were the refuge in it. You were not supposed to be her savior. You were her gift. She says, if you only knew how much your love kept me going longer than I could have on my own, you would stop torturing yourself. Heaven is not playing a cruel game with you. You did not miss the one key that could have made her live forever. Mortality does not work that way. You are thinking like a human trapped in a single moment. Heaven sees across lifetimes, sees soul contracts, sees threads you cannot imagine. What feels like a tragic end to you is one scene in a story that stretches far beyond the years you shared on this earth. God says, you did not cause this. You did not fail her. You did not disappoint me. You have whispered, if I matter to heaven, why did you let this happen? You have felt guilty for even asking that. But heaven can handle your honesty. I tell you this with gentle fire. If you keep living in self-blame, you will be walking with chains that were never placed on you by heaven. Today, through this message, those chains begin to loosen. Today, the curse of, what if I had just, starts to break. Feel it. Not as a sudden forgetting, but as a slow untying of knots in your chest. She has been begging for that release for you. She cannot rest in full peace, not while you keep rewriting the past as if you were the author of every outcome. You were not. You were a chapter of love, a sanctuary, a home for her heart in a world that often did not understand her. She says, when I was pushing limits, when I was dreaming bigger than anyone believed, you were the one who believed in me. When others mocked or doubted, you held the vision with her. You encouraged the wild, the weird, the impossible. You saw the gold when others only saw risk. She wants you to know, those dreams were not wasted. The fire you saw in her did not just vanish. It transformed. It shifted dimensions. The energy of who she is now woven into a higher plan. You have wondered, did everything she worked for just die with her? No. It did not. Every idea, every risk, every late-night conversation dreaming of a better world, was recorded in the fabric of creation. Heaven does not throw away sincere effort. Heaven does not discard sincere love. Heaven does not forget genuine sacrifice. Nothing is lost. Some of what she began, you will finish in your own way. Not as a burden, but as an honoring. Some of what she carried, heaven has passed to other souls, so that the light she carried will keep spreading across countless lives. You are not responsible for carrying it all. You are invited to carry the part that matches your heart, and to lay down the rest. She has been begging to tell you, stop trying to become me. You are not supposed to replace me. You are supposed to be you. You admired her brilliance, her bold choices, her drive to build and create and disrupt. Sometimes you have felt small in comparison. You have thought, she was the extraordinary one. I'm just the one left behind. But heaven does not see it that way. Heaven sees two interconnected souls. One blazing trail in a way that made noise. One carrying quiet depths the world has not fully recognized yet, but heaven has. Archangel Michael says, the same light that burned in her also burns in you, shaped differently but made of the same source. You are not the background character in someone else's legend. You are a soul with assignments of your own, handpicked by heaven before you breathed your first breath. The reason this loss hurts so deeply is because your destinies intertwined by design. The ache of her absence is proof of how truly you loved. Do not despise that ache. Do not run from it. Walk through it with heaven beside you, and it will become sacred ground. You have feared that letting go of the intensity of your grief would be like betraying her, like erasing her, like moving on and leaving her behind. She is begging you to hear this. Letting go of pain is not letting go of me. It is letting me hold you without hurting you. She does not want to be remembered only with tears that burn your throat, or nights where you cannot sleep, or days where you collapse under the heaviness. She wants to be remembered with warmth in your chest, with a smile that surprises you, with courage rising when you hear her favorite words. She says, I do not need your suffering to prove your love. Your love is proven by your breath, by the way you keep going. You think she is far, out of reach, beyond the sky, but she keeps whispering, I am closer than you think. Closer in the quiet of your thoughts. Closer in the way you finish her unfinished sentences in your mind. Closer in the way you still argue with her in your head and then laugh at yourself. You feel her when you reach for your device to send her a message and then remember you cannot. In that sting, She is there, watching, holding space, wishing she could answer in the way she used to, but honored that you still think of her first. She says, when you talk to me in your heart, I hear it. When you cry into your pillow, I am not indifferent. You wonder, is this really her? Or just my mind trying to comfort me? Heaven answers. The comfort you receive when you imagine her proud of you, the strength that comes when you picture her cheering you on, the peace that slips in when you feel her near, those are not lies. God says, love is a legal bridge between realms. Through that bridge, my messengers can carry peace to you. That is why this message found you now. Because your heart is at a crossroads. Because you have been standing between two doors, giving up or going forward. You have thought about quitting. Quitting the project. Quitting the business. Quitting the healing. Quitting on yourself. You have even thought, if she couldn't keep going, what chance do I have? You see her as the stronger one, and yourself as the weaker one. Archangel Michael says, what you call weakness, heaven often calls tenderness, and tenderness is not a flaw, it is a sacred capacity to feel deeply. You think your brokenness disqualifies you, but heaven sees it as soil where new life can grow. Not in spite of the cracks in you, but through them. You are hearing this because heaven refuses to let you sink quietly into a life of numbness and regret. That is not your story. She has been begging to tell you, don't you dare bury yourself with me. I did not cross over so you could stop living. She is closer than you think every time you stand on the edge of a new decision, every time you say, what would she tell me right now? And you feel an answer rise in your gut. That gentle nudge toward bravery. That small push to send the message, to take the meeting, to start again. She has been adding her yes to yours. No, she is not your guardian in place of heaven. Do not turn her into an idol. But know this. Her love is now part of heaven's support system for you. God says, I did not take her from you to punish you. I received her back into my arms and kept the thread between you intact. Every time you think, you would not believe what I'm going through, she does. More than you know. You worry she will forget you as she moves deeper into light. She will not. Love does not forget. Her earthly to-do lists have stopped, but her soul's love list did not. You are still at the top. You remain one of her great assignments of affection. She has been begging heaven, please, just one more way to reach them. One more chance to say what I couldn't say enough. One more way to lift that guilt from their shoulders. And heaven, in mercy, orchestrated this word to arrive in front of you like a letter with your name on it. She says, I am sorry for the ways I left you wondering. I am sorry for the times my own battles made you feel not enough. Listen. She is not apologizing because heaven condemns her. She is apologizing because love, when seen clearly, becomes humble. She sees now how hard you were trying. She sees your efforts that you thought went unnoticed. She sees your patience, your loyalty, your sacrifice. You think of the last words between you. Were they enough? Were they loving? Were they messy? If your last moment was tender, you are grateful but still aching. If your last moment was strained, you feel a knife of regret. She wants you to release that. To stop replaying it like a punishment loop. To allow heaven to rewrite your last conversation with truth instead of fear. If your last words were harsh, hear this: her vision now is not clouded by ego or defensiveness. She knows your heart behind the words. If your last words were soft, hear this: she holds those like a bouquet in her spirit, treasures them, revisits them with gratitude. Either way, she wants this to be your new, last message from her, the one that speaks louder than the unfinished earth story. She says, I loved you more than I knew how to say then. I was proud of you more than I showed. I noticed your effort more than I admitted. I saw the way you looked at me when I was taking big swings, when I was betting on impossible things, and I felt braver because you believed in me. I wish I had told you how often your presence kept me from quitting. I wish I had said plainly how much I needed you. But hear this now: your name is written in heaven next to the word faithful. That is what you were to her. Even in your imperfections, even in your confusion, even in your exhaustion, you showed up. God says, I have seen how you have kept loving even with a cracked heart. I am turning those cracks into windows for my light. The breakthrough begins not when everything in your life looks fixed, but when you finally believe that this loss was not your fault. Right now, as you listen, miracles are not just happening outside you. They are happening inside you. A slow rearranging of beliefs. A quiet but steady shifting of blame off your shoulders. A dawning awareness: maybe I am allowed to heal. You are. Heaven is not honored by your never-ending torment. Heaven is honored when you let love do its full work. You ask, what am I supposed to do now, without her? She answers, through me, live. Not just exist. Live in a way that honors both my fire and your softness. Take the risks that are yours to take, not the ones you think I would have taken. Build the things that match your soul, even if they look different from my dreams. When you laugh, I feel my story redeeming. When you create, I feel my legacy breathing. When you choose kindness over bitterness, forgiveness over revenge, courage over hiding, I feel us winning together. She is closer than you think when you sit in the dark and ask, can anyone hear me? Because yes, heaven hears. You feel alone, but you are surrounded by more witnesses than your eyes can comprehend. And one of them is the soul you miss so much. God says, I am not replacing her. I am restoring you. I am giving you new strength to carry your own name, not live only in hers. You have been living in the shadow of the one you lost, thinking that to be loyal means to constantly stand in that shadow. But heaven calls you into light. Not out of disrespect, but out of deep respect for the one you lost and the one you are becoming. She does not want you to trade your life for her memory. She wants her memory to help you trade fear for courage. Archangel Michael says, rise, beloved. Not instantly. Not perfectly. But steadily. Rise from the bed you have been sinking into too long. Rise from the self-hate you keep repeating in your mind. Rise from the belief that you will never laugh without guilt again. Rise from the story that your best days died with her. You are still here because heaven still has pages to write with your breath. Every inhale you take is proof that purpose remains. You have been clenching your heart, waiting for another blow, afraid to care deeply again in case you lose again. Heaven understands. Heaven does not rush you. But heaven also whispers, there is more love ahead of you. Not to replace her. No one replaces her. But to join the tapestry, to weave new colors into your life. She is not jealous of that. She longs for it. She wants to see you surrounded by warmth again, inside and around you. She has been begging for you to stop questioning whether you deserve that. You do. Because the one who made you says you do. God says, I am not done revealing beauty from these ashes. You will see goodness again in the land of the living. You will not cry forever. There will be a day when you remember a joke she told and you laugh first instead of cry. There will be a day when you can tell her story without your voice breaking every time. That day is not a betrayal. It is a testament. A testament that love was stronger than death's sting, that heaven walked you through the valley, that light found you again. You ask, how do I move toward that day? Start with this: stop speaking curses over yourself. Stop narrating your life as if you are doomed to stay stuck here. When you hear the words in your head, I'm broken beyond repair. I ruin everything. I don't deserve another chance, recognize them as lies. Heaven does not speak to you that way. She does not speak to you that way now. Those are echoes of pain, not decrees over your future. She speaks to you now in the language of calling. I see you trying. I see you surviving. I see you still here. I am proud of you. Yes. She is proud of you. Not because you have done everything right, but because you have not surrendered to the darkness. You think you're failing because you still cry, still doubt, still ache. But heaven calls that honest grieving, and honest grieving is not failure. Archangel Michael says, every tear you have cried has been seen, counted, and honored. None of your pain is wasted. None of your nights of silently screaming into the quiet are ignored. Your suffering is not meaningless. From it, compassion is being built. Wisdom is being carved. Strength is being formed in places you cannot yet see. There will be people one day whose lives you will touch in ways you cannot imagine because you know what it is to lose and still love. You will recognize the look in their eyes. You will hear the tremor in their voice. You will say words that only someone who has been through the fire can say. And as you comfort them, a piece of you will be comforted too. As you help them rise, you will feel yourself rising. This is not to romanticize your pain. Heaven is not glad you hurt. But heaven is relentless in drawing redemption from every wound. God says, I did not create the tear, but I will transform what it waters. You will see gardens grow where you only see scorched earth right now. Your loved one, your visionary, your fierce, boundary-breaking soul, she is part of that redemption. Not as a ghost to haunt you, but as a witness who cheers you on. Not as a chain that keeps you in the past, but as a thread tying your courage to hers. She is closer than you think each time you stand on the edge of doing something brave and her name rises in your thoughts like a battle cry. Do it, she whispers. Try again. Send it. Build it. Forgive them. Forgive yourself. She wants her story not to be the reason you close your heart, but the reason you open it wider to what truly matters. So hear this final part clearly, beloved one. This is the core of her last message for you in this appointed window. Live in a way that would make both of us grateful when we meet again. Don't waste time on people and patterns that crush your spirit. Stop pretending you are less than you are to make others comfortable. Speak up when you would have stayed silent. Rest when you would have driven yourself into the ground. Apologize when you're wrong. Walk away when you're being diminished. Take care of the body you drag through your days. Take care of the mind you overload. Take care of the heart you keep handing to people who won't hold it gently. Ignore the voices that say you are too much or not enough. I know who you are better now than I ever did before. You are worth a future. You are worth joy. You are worth good love, real love, that stays and grows. If you remember me, remember this: I do not want a shrine made of your suffering. I want a life made of your becoming. Archangel Michael says, let these words settle in the places of you that still feel frozen in that moment of loss. Right now, open your hands, if you can. Physically or in your heart. Imagine placing your guilt there. Imagine placing the words, I should have saved her, should have known, should have done more, into those open hands. Now imagine heaven's light pouring over your hands, so bright you can barely hold on to those accusations anymore. You do not have to carry them. You were never meant to. Release them, as best you can, even if you can only let go a little today. God says, I am bigger than your regrets. I am kinder than your inner critic. I am more faithful than your fears. Her last message for you is not a set of instructions. It is a blessing. May you know peace that doesn't make sense. May you feel my love without needing proof. May you trust that I am safe, and that you are still meant to be here. May you laugh again without apology. May you build again without terror. May you love again without waiting for everything to fall apart. May you look in the mirror and see not what you've lost, but who you still are, the one I loved then, the one I love now. She is closer than you think right now, in this very breath. Not as an illusion, but as a soul held in the hands of the one who holds you too. You are both within the same great love, wearing different garments of existence, but not separated in the way your fear tells you. Archangel Michael says, when you finish hearing this, do not rush away. Sit for a moment. Let the silence speak to you. Notice what rises in your heart. A memory, a phrase, an image, a feeling of warmth. That is heaven continuing the conversation. That is her love finding new ways to reach you. You are not abandoned. You are not unseen. You are not condemned to walk this road alone. You are being upheld by hands you cannot see but can learn to trust. Step by step. Breath by breath. This is not the end of your story. This is a turning page. A holy shift. A soft but undeniable beginning. So rise, beloved child. Carry her love, but not her burden. Carry her courage, but not your blame. Walk forward knowing she has spoken what she longed to say, heaven has answered what you longed to hear, and the one who made you will not let your footsteps fall into nothing. You are held. You are loved. You are chosen to keep going. And as you do, remember, she is closer than you think. And heaven is even closer than that. And there is more you must hear. Because even now, part of you is still holding back. Part of you is listening with one ear and bracing with the other, waiting for the pain to slam shut whatever this message is trying to open. I see that. Heaven sees that. The one who formed your heart understands why it built such defenses. You have thought, if I really let this in, if I really accept that she is gone from here and alive somewhere else, I might fall apart. You are afraid that if you fully grieve, you will never stop. That the tears will become a flood you drown in. Archangel Michael says, tears are not your enemy. They are the river that carries your pain to heaven. They are not proof of weakness. They are proof you dared to love. People who never cry usually never let their hearts truly attach. You did. You attached. You invested. You loved for real. That is why this loss feels unbearable. Not because you are fragile, but because the bond was deep, woven into the daily fabric of your life. She wants you to know she saw that weaving. You did not orbit her like a fan, you walked with her like a partner in life's wild experiment. You grounded her when she flew too high, and she pulled you into possibilities you would have never considered alone. You were a holy collision of stability and daring, of tenderness and drive. It was intense. It was beautiful. It was sometimes exhausting. You do not have to pretend it was perfect to honor it. You can admit, she overwhelmed me sometimes. It scared me how big she dreamed. I didn't always understand her choices. Heaven does not require a flawless memory in order to bless your love. Truth is more powerful than edits. She too sees that now. From where she stands, her vision no longer filtered through fear, pressure, or exhaustion. She can admit, with more honesty than ever, I was hard to be close to sometimes. I was consumed by ideas, by goals, by pressure I put on myself. I know I made you feel like you had to keep up, or risk being left behind by my constant motion. I know there were days you didn't recognize me, lost in my work, lost in my stress, lost in my own storms. She does not say this to condemn who she was, but to free you from carrying unspoken resentment. You have a right to feel everything you feel. Missing her and being mad at her sometimes can exist in the same heart. God says, I can hold your conflicting emotions. You do not have to sort them all out before coming to me. You may be angry with her for leaving the way she did. Angry at her risks, angry at her limits, angry at her not asking for more help. You have whispered, how could you leave me with all of this? With these bills? With these projects? With these decisions? With this empty bed? With this shattered heart? It is okay to say that. Your honesty does not push her away now. It does not insult heaven. It opens the wound so light can reach it. She answers you gently, if I had understood then what I see clearly now, I would have let you carry more of my load. I thought I had to be the strong one. I thought needing you too much would hold you back. I thought I could outrun my limits. I was wrong about some things. Not about loving you. I was right about loving you, but about how much I was allowed to lean on you, and how much I was allowed to lean on heaven. There is no shame in her voice now. No defensiveness. No pride. Only clarity and compassion. Heaven is not a courtroom where she sits on one side and you sit on the other, arguing over what went wrong. Heaven is a place where perfect love untangles the knots that human life often tied too tightly to see clearly. Archangel Michael says, release the need to make one person the villain, yourself, her, or even heaven. There were forces at work you could not see. There were burdens she carried she didn't know how to name. There were battles going on in the unseen over hope, despair, purpose, and pain. You saw only the surface. You saw the brilliance, the movement, the brave face. Heaven saw the strain behind her eyes. And when her time in that particular body could no longer continue, Heaven did not abandon her mid-fall. She was not left to tumble into nothing. She was caught. She was held. You fear that her final moments were unbearable. You worry that she called for you and you were not there. She wants you to know, I was not alone. Love met me. Light met me. Grace met me. Where your arms could not reach, other arms did. Where your voice could not travel, another voice did. This does not erase the ache of your last goodbye, but it can begin to soften the sharp edge of your torment. God says, I did not abandon her in her crossing, and I have not abandoned you in your remaining. Both of you have been held in the same infinite care, expressed in different ways. She experiences that care now without the fog of stress or fear. You are being invited to experience that care in the middle of your very human tears. You ask, can I really talk to her? Or am I just talking to myself? Hear this with discernment. You are always safe talking to heaven directly. You can pour your heart out to the one who holds all souls. And as you do, the love you feel for her is not ignored. The messages you wish you could send are not thrown into a void. Heaven is not cut off from the realities of your attachments. The one who designed love does not suddenly become indifferent to it. When you speak in your heart to the one you lost, heaven hears. The love between you is known, revered, and protected. Sometimes, that love will be allowed to echo back to you in ways you can sense, a dream, a memory that arrives at the exact right moment, a sudden calm in the middle of a panic. Do not chase signs like a desperate scavenger hunt. Do not base your peace only on whether you notice them. Instead, let peace be rooted in the deeper truth that all love given in sincerity has eternal significance. She does not want you spiraling into obsession, reading meaning into every cloud or every flicker of light. She wants you grounded, steady, rooted in the unshakable reality that while her form changed, the love you shared does not disintegrate. She says, talk to heaven honestly. Tell the one who made us everything on your heart. Trust that nothing is wasted. And when memories of me come, welcome them without fear. You don't have to dissect whether it was really me or just your mind. If it brings you closer to peace, closer to love, closer to courage, then let it bless you. Let go of the pressure to prove anything to anyone. This is between your heart, heaven, and the one you miss. God says, I am not threatened by your longing. I am the source of the love you are longing through. You feel guilty sometimes for functioning too well. For having days where you didn't cry, for moments where you were actually okay. You wonder, does that mean I'm forgetting her? Does that mean I didn't love her enough? No. It means grace visited you for a moment, so you could breathe. She is not insulted by your laughter. She is not wounded by your ability to keep living. She is grateful. She is relieved. She is glad when she sees glimpses of light break through your darkness. Because from where she is now, she sees the bigger map. She sees how valuable your journey still is, how many intersections of destiny still ahead of you. Archangel Michael says, the story of your life did not end with her chapter. It shifted, but it did not cease. There are people you have not met yet who will be impacted by the lessons you are learning now. There are creations you have not made yet, words you have not spoken yet, acts of courage you have not taken yet. And though she cannot walk those steps in a physical body beside you anymore, her love will echo in your boldness. You will hear her voice in the background of your heart whenever you stand at the threshold of something new and feel both fear and excitement. She will not live through you as a controlling force. She will live with you as an inspiration whenever you choose truth over fear. You think your life has shrunk to only grief and survival. Heaven sees seeds of expansion buried under the soil of loss. You are being stretched. Not punished. Stretched. Stretched to hold more compassion for yourself and others. Stretched to hold mystery without collapsing. Stretched to trust what you cannot fully grasp yet, that death is not an ending so much as a doorway. A doorway she walked through first, but not alone. A doorway you will one day walk through, also not alone. But for now, you have corridors to travel on this side of the doorway. Assignments to fulfill. Love to give and receive. She is urging you, don't stand at the doorway in your mind day after day, staring at it, wishing you could follow me now. There is still sky for you to see. There is still ground for you to cover. There are people whose lives will be brighter simply because you exist. Don't rob them of you by living half alive. You have imagined future milestones without her and felt sick. Celebrations, decisions, moments you dreamed of sharing. You look ahead and think, how can I do any of this without her? It feels like walking on one leg with half your heart missing. Heaven will not pretend that those days will be easy. No one is sugarcoating that. But hear the promise in this, God says, when you reach those moments, you will not face them with only the strength you have today. Strength grows quietly. Like roots under the ground, it spreads without fanfare. You rarely see it forming until you need it. The courage you gain from opening your heart to messages like this, the healing you allow by letting tears fall now, all of it is storing future strength. There will be a day when you stand at one of those milestones, feeling both grief and gratitude, and you will sense you are not standing there alone. You will feel a strange mix of ache and honor, honor to carry her memory there with you, honor to live on not as an empty shell, but as someone who loved fiercely and kept going. She wants you to picture that. Not as a torment, but as a quiet promise, you will get there. And you will be more whole than you feel now. Archangel Michael says, do not measure your future strength by your current exhaustion. You are tired. Heaven sees that. Tired in your bones. Tired in your mind. Tired of pretending. Heaven does not demand that you instantly transform into a bold, laughing, healed person overnight. Transformation in this realm moves more like sunrise than a flipped switch. First, the darkest hour stretches longer than seems fair. Then faint hints of light barely color the edges of your sky. You doubt it. You think, it's probably nothing. It's probably not for me. But the light keeps growing. Soft, slow, patient. That is how healing often comes. You hearing this now is one of those early rays. Not the full noon, but a beginning of brightness. Lean into it without demanding that it instantly fix everything. Let it be what it is, light enough for the next step. You ask, what am I supposed to actually do after hearing all this? Begin small. Begin where you are. Maybe you take a deep breath for the first time in days without feeling guilty. That is holy. Maybe you speak out loud, even in a whisper, the words, I was not meant to save her. Maybe you let yourself say, she is safe now, even if a part of you still doubts it. Say it anyway. Let your heart get used to the sound. Maybe you confess to heaven, I am angry. I am confused. But I am listening. That listening is an opening. Heaven can pour so much into even a tiny opening. You do not heal by pretending it didn't hurt. You heal by telling the truth in the presence of a love big enough to hold it. She wants you to have people on this side who can hold some of it with you too. You have pulled away, stopped answering messages, turned down invitations, because it feels too strange to be normal around anyone. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be the sad story. You don't want people's clumsy words to make you feel worse. Your caution is understandable. But complete isolation is not what she wants for you. It is not what heaven wants for you. God says, I made you for connection. Even broken, you are worthy of being known. You do not need many. You do not need perfect people. But you do need some who can sit with your sorrow without trying to fix it.